And there's a suggestion, like, for when we're when we're enabling the river to run, like maybe it drains the lake and there's like rewards or something. You can get a reward for doing that.
Sure, yeah, we can definitely do something like that. I'm gonna leave that off for now though, because that's not really, that'll be really specific and that'll be more of a game design choice we'll make later on. But I like that. I think that could be something really cool, right? Or maybe one of the pieces that you have to get to continue on your mission is at the bottom of the lake. Although we will have swimming in this game, so you could just swim down there, but...
Maybe you can't get to it somehow.
Yeah, sure. Maybe 2D or, whatever.
Monsters in the way.
Yeah, totally. Something like that. But I like that idea. That'd be cool.
Okay.
Alright, so anything else you guys want to add to the environment? I'm going to hop into Unity in a little bit, and I'm gonna toy around with some stuff that I was kind of looking at. I found some bugs in our game that we need to fix already, just with our character controller and stuff.
Okay.
And I made a few changes Wednesday after the club meeting to our raycasting. Did you guys have anything else to add to the environment? Anyone home have anything to add to the environment? Anything like that?
Well, by the way, Zelatar, is that art?
That's Art.
Okay, so that's art. It's been saying all the things.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool. Hi, Art. We can all say hi.
Hi.
Everybody say hi, Art. Okay. All right, cool. Then let's just move on. Let's move on. I'll just leave this up here. I'm gonna sit down now. I'm gonna hop into Unity, and let's do a little talk here. Okay, so we have our guy. He walks around. He can see things and walk into them, right? So did I change the raycasting to the mesh last week, or was it still in a little circle?
I think it was a circle.
Okay, so I changed that because it makes a little more sense now to where it's based off of where our character's looking. So now we can walk up to it, right, and it'll know. And I also changed the script a little bit so when we're not looking at it, or if we're looking at nothing, then it won't start with that particle effect. So I'm gonna hop into the script here because there's one thing I noticed is a huge problem is the original raycasting. When you base your raycasting off of the player, it's being based off of his very bottom of the character, right? So we're raycasting off the bottom of this box. So if we take this box, right, and we move it to where it's not in the ground, but it's a little bit above the ground, I don't think he'll see it. I could be wrong. Okay, yeah. So you see, he's not picking it up. So we need to move that raycast up. It's its starting position. We need to move it up on the y coordinates, like maybe 2 units. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Mono and this script that we're using for our raycast. So here's the main change that I made for us now if we're not looking at anything at all. So we do this if statement, right? And this conditional is just saying that if our raycast is going out and hitting something, then do that. And now our else is now if it's not hitting anything, then we're going to turn it off. Versus if what we were hitting was not named block, because it wasn't right after this if conditional after block. So it really didn't make any sense. I mean, it made sense logically, but it didn't work like we wanted it to work. So this little change, putting this if conditional outside the else statement of the raycast in general, will allow us to sort of manipulate it as we want. But so what we need to do is we need to move the origin point of the raycast up. So this first parameter that you're passing into this raycast, this is the origin point. So what we're doing is we're calling transform.position. Transform.position is a vector 3 based off of the exact position on where our character is, right? So for local to our player, that's 0, 0, 0, which is giving us the bottom level. So what we can do instead is we can do new vector 3, and then we can say transform.position.x, and then transform.position.y. But then our y, we're going to want to move it up. I said maybe 2. That might not be enough. We'll see. So transform.position.y plus 2. So now we're moving it up 2 units. And then transform.position.z. Now that should move it up a little bit. This is red for some reason. We'll see. We'll see if that throws us an error. It might. Oh, because I missed an R. I spelled transform wrong. Okay, there. That makes more sense. Okay, so going back into Unity now. Good. We got no errors. Good to go. Okay, so now when we move around, it should be up about 2 units. So now this guy's on the ground. Let's just see if it works. I guess is the ultimate way to test it, right? So when we walk into it, okay, so it looks like 2 isn't high enough. That's easy to fix. We can say plus 5. That might be too high now. We'll see. Sorry. So those watching at home, mono. All we're doing is we're just increasing this transform.position.y. We increase it from plus 2 to plus 5. So now hopping back into Unity. Let's run it. Let's see if this is high enough to pick it up. Okay, so it is. So that's good. So now it's 5 units up. I don't know the height of our character, right? But that's fine. I mean, that's something we can always toy around with. We could also make this additive variable. We could make this int height and plus height. And now what we can do is, now that we've created this public variable, we can go back into Unity and then we can set it however we want in the script itself, which is on our mesh now, right? So we can put height at, we have that at 5, right? That works. So then we could, cool thing is we can also change it. Oh, I gotta turn off full screen real quick. Sorry guys. So we won't maximize it on play, but now we can. So we know 5 works, right? Okay, now let's test. Now we can test 3. Okay, so 3 is not high enough. Oh, 4. 4 is high enough. Okay, so I mean, we can change this public variable all we want and adjust it, and that just makes it a little bit easier for testing purposes. I don't really know. Yeah.
Could we make it a double to be more precise?
Yeah, definitely. We could, or a float, or whatever, But I just have it at int right now. Yeah, obviously it doesn't have to be an int. It probably actually should be a float when I think about it. Yeah, but it's going to do the exact same thing, being a float or double, since we're not using this decimal point to change anything. But like you said, yeah, we could do that to make it more simple. So that was just one bug that I was just kind of testing out a little bit. Oh, so also the major changes I made, right, was I made our raycast not be based off of our camera's position anymore. It's now based off of our player's position, which, if you ask me, I think that makes more sense. And would you guys like that better? Yeah, because I mean, before we could have it so we're facing the exact opposite way and it would still trigger it, but we don't. Now we can turn around and it'll still bug out a little bit. Oh, it doesn't like it for some reason now. I bugged something out, but that's okay. We'll mess around with that later. Okay, one of the other things I was going to show you guys was trees. I know we were talking about trees a little bit, and I was just kind of toying around with this on the bus, actually, on my way here to school. But it was kind of cool, right? So if you want to create a tree, you have this, you go to create 3D object tree, right? And you're going to have, this will probably be closed by default, and you'll just have this little bit of info going on here. And our tree is going to be, I don't know, originally get instantiated at a weird position. So let's just put this on the ground somewhere. And this is cool. Like I said, I was toying around this in Unity. It's a cool way to make trees, honestly. So what you can do is you have the base model down here, and this is going to tell you, this is going to be whatever base model you're setting off of, and then you can add branches to it, and these branches will, they'll have a bend factor if you want. You have, if a lot of different options that I didn't have time to go through each and every individual one when I was on the way here, so I don't actually know what all of them do. But then what you can do is, let's say we want to add some branches to this tree. It's really easy. You have a branch button and you have a leaf button. So you're just going to add branches. Like, that's not a very good spot, right? And we're going to want more than one. So what we can do is we can take this frequency and we can increase it. And those will just increase to however many we want, all the way to 100 new branches. Obviously, that's going to be way too many. You want to keep a track on your verts and your tries, because that's going to determine how much usage it's actually taking up in your game. But let's just turn it down to like, 10 is probably a good amount. 10 branches, 9 branches, whatever. And then you can see how they're all in a very horrible spot, right? Like branches down there, that makes no sense. So one thing we can do is we can grab the group seed, this variable, we can start changing that. That's going to change its position on where these branches are going to be located. So the way I did it, and this might not be right, but I was just kind of toying around with this grouping until I found one that was relatively good. Like we'll keep going. We'll find one at some point, probably. There, right? That's at least now there's no branches that are on the very bottom. Now we can change its growth angle. We can move it up, or we can change its growth scale, right, to make them really long, or whatever. Also, one thing you can do is you can click on this little button. I don't think people can see this on the stream because I don't think it'll pick up this extra window that just popped up. But you can change the curve. You click this button right here. I'll do it again a little slower. So there's these buttons that allow you to distribute how you want them to distribute, and then like the angle that you want it to grow at. So right now we can make it start at a low angle and curve upward, right? And this just kind of allows you to make different angles that you want to make with your branches. And there's some preset ones in here you can also toy around with. But now this will give us some branches and a little bit of work. And now if we follow this hierarchy, right, we have their base model, and then we have the main tree trunk or tree whatever, and then we have 9 branches. See, we have the node, we have the count right here. We have 9 branches coming out of that. And so out of each of these 9 branches, we're going to want to add a leaf group. So we have these leaves here, and then we can go down, we can change their frequency also, so we can make, a crazy amount if we want. But see how high our verts and our tries just went off those leaves. So I think you got to keep that in mind there. That's going to change drastic amount. And ideally, we want to keep it relatively small. Like I said, 10 is probably a good amount. And then we just want to have a good texture that we can apply onto these. And that texture will kind of be what really makes it come to life. And again, you can change the group seed, and that's kind of its starting point. And also you can change, the angle that they're at. And their scale, how big you want them. Which is weird that you turn it down and make it bigger. But maybe there's a reason behind that, I'm not sure. Or maybe it's just because this thing is a little different. But again, it's just things that you can choose. Distribution, you can make it alternate. So they alternate on each branches per leaf node. But then one thing we can do here is we can go into the material. There's some pre-baked materials when you import the tree through the Unity assets. So we just click this big tree leaf, right? This is a good texture, really good texture. And now this is kind of